Two cousins have been jailed for their roles in an execution-style murder linked to the Comancheros gang. Abraham Tufui was shot dead and his wife Yolanda severely injured on Greenwood Road, Mangere, in May last year. Fisilau Tapaevalu and Mesui Tufui will now join their cousin Taani behind bars after both were jailed for life for their roles in the shooting. Our court reporter Annika Smith filed this story.
Abraham Tufui arrived at Greenwood Road in the late hours of April 30 last year with $63,000 in cash. The Patch Nomads member was there for a methamphetamine deal with the Comancheros. His wife Yolanda stayed in the car while he got out and spoke to Taani. More than an hour passed before he screamed and came running back to the car.
Mrs. Tapaevalu then looked out the window and saw a man with a gun. She then described a series of events in which she and her husband were ordered at gunpoint to walk to the edge of the road.
Justice Lang said Mrs. Tapaevalu had identified Taani and Tufui as the armed men. At trial, the court heard the shooting may have been a hit ordered by the Comancheros in Australia. Tufui told police he overheard Taani say they'd been given the green light to kill them. The Tapaevalus begged for their lives before trying to make a break for it.
They then began running down the road. At least one shot was fired. The evidence suggests that at that point, as they ran away, Mr. Taani went back to the vehicle. I am satisfied, Mr. Tufui, you carried on down the road with the shotgun you were holding.
Tufui chased the pair on foot while Tapaevalu drove Taani down the road.
At that point, Mr. Taani got out and a large number of shots were fired. 7 of these struck Mr. Tapaevalu. At or about the same time, Mr. Taani discharged 2 shots at Mrs. Tapaevalu. He then changed weapons and shot her twice in the head with a .38 Smith & Wesson revolver.
Much of what is known about that night is drawn from the memory of Mrs. Tapaevalu, who still has a bullet lodged in her brain. She pretended to be dead to save her life and was found lying next to her husband by a passing motorist the following morning. Taani admitted his role in the shooting and was jailed for life with a minimum non-parole period of 17.5 years last month. Tufui and Tapaevalu, however, pleaded not guilty to charges. At trial, Tapaevalu said he didn't know about a plan to hurt the Tapaevalus, while Tufui told police it was a case of mistaken identity. In the end, the jury found them both guilty of murder and attempted murder, but today Justice Lang said he didn't think the killing was premeditated.
If the plan was to kill Mr. Tapaevalu, why was that not done at the beginning of that meeting? It's inconceivable, in my view, that a person planning to kill a victim in that way would chat with them for nearly an hour and a quarter before carrying out the plan.
Tufui previously admitted a charge of possessing methamphetamine, while Tapaevalu pleaded guilty to 2 charges each of possessing methamphetamine and unlawful possession of a firearm. In the High Court at Auckland this morning, Justice Lang jailed both men for life. Tufui will serve 19 years before he is eligible for parole, while Tapaevalu was sentenced to a minimum term of 17 years. Atuiti ko te matua ko Annika Smith aho.